Hello, Elizabeth.
Hi, Voucher. How are you?
Well, very good, very good.
Yeah,
How was your day?
it's great. It's sunny. I've been waiting for summer for years now, I think. I don't know, but
To go out
definitely,
and to enjoy and to meet people. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's just nice. Get a little fresh air. It's great. How about you? How's the event going so far?
Yeah,
Are
very
you
good.
happy with
I
it?
like this
Yeah.
event. It's short, so we have two more presentations and then we're finished. So it's you and then PropTech One from Germany. So really looking forward to what you are going to tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. What should we talk about? What is the flow of the event? What do you think we should really hit on today?
Well, can you tell us a little bit about what is the first half year? It's been crazy for everybody
Yeah.
because of the pandemic, but also about reopening. How do you see the future of real estate
Uh, yeah.
and buildings?
I think we're about to get into some really exciting times. I mean, we're seeing the prop tech area grow immensely. We're seeing prop techs start to be bought by huge companies, prop tech projects. We're really moving into this space where this is getting noticed. Money is getting put behind here. Small projects are being bought by big projects. There is investment from a ton of different organizations across all industries. What we're seeing is that there's a lot of things happening, but I think maybe people don't realize this as much. I don't know, because we're all still sort of home, right, Voucher?
Yeah,
So we're not seeing kind of some of these things happen. We're not realizing that things have changed in the buildings that we've worked in entirely, or how that setup is going to work, the consultancy that's going in here. So much energy, so much money is being built, and this industry is growing exponentially. It's such an exciting time, and I think kind of fun. Well, what about for you? You've been in prop tech space for years now, and it's been kind of growing, and now it's just everywhere. Does it feel crazy to have something that was once kind of cool and fringe to be just huge now?
yeah, it's getting it's big. This week we had two big well scale-ups in the Netherlands getting more money, getting funded. So one Spotter AI was 2.5 million and Mapic was 10 million. So the numbers are getting bigger. So you see that the opportunities are also getting bigger. More and more people within real estate see that they need to act right now and they need to implement those technologies. And maybe the pandemic also helped a little bit because we all went home. So the offices were empty, but now we're going back. But to which kind of office are we going back? It needs to be more healthy. It needs to be more sustainable. It needs to be more technology. So it needs to be more smart. So what can you say about well the buildings that we've certified and what do you see what do you see happening?
Well, I love that you're talking about how everything's changing. And I think one of the things that we're really seeing is also that everybody's involved too. We have employees who say, this is the kind of workspace that I'm hearing is coming back. This is the kind of workspace I want to work in. It's also pushing the decisions. We're seeing a lot of movement within who's renting out buildings. We're seeing who's buying buildings and where this energy is going. So it's really every voice is being heard right now, I think, and sort of pushing this movement from all ends. If you look at, we've done a wide variety of buildings. We've done buildings that are co-working spaces. We've done buildings that are multifunctional, multi-tenant. We've done restaurant and catering. We've done museums. We've done hotels. We've done so many different types of buildings, and they are vastly different, but they have some things that are very much in common. And that is that so many stakeholders are involved with what's going on here, and they're all pushing this agenda for a huge amount of reasons. When
Good.
renting out for higher values, we see our buildings doing better than buildings that are not smart or that are not certified. It's really exciting for us to add that value for the return on investment, and just give some very black and white, besides all of the nice and exciting things. You visit some buildings and you go, wow, this is such a cool experience. And then they say, yeah, we rent out for this much more a month than the building next door, and we we sold at a higher value than we would have if we were a smaller building. So what does that tell us? We're adding a lot of value, and we're really excited to kind of have that whole experience and the business model behind it.
So what is the most exciting technology that you have seen, or the most exciting implementation, or the most exciting, extra value that a building has created?
I think
it's so much. I know it's so much.
So much. They've all got their own. So I hate to pick a favorite child right now.
Yeah.
But
well, maybe you can name a couple. What you think it's new, it's different than other buildings are doing, and what you have seen.
You know, I think I can't talk about this one yet because we're still writing up the case study for this. But we have a building that got run by a really brilliant team. And one of the things that they did was they took technology that wasn't meant for what they were doing, and they implemented it. You know, they took a technology used in airports, and they implemented into a building that needed to be down to the second, knowing where people are, what people were doing, this kind of thing. And they optimized their whole business model because they looked outside the box. They used a technology that wasn't meant for them, but was perfect for them. So I think that's some of the exciting things where you're really getting into this sort of creative space where people are grabbing technologies, not because they fit perfectly on paper, but because people know what their outcome is. What do they want to achieve? And then getting creative and saying, actually, we can use this, or we can use this for two functions. We have a lot of buildings who use technology for more than the one function that they're kind of famous for. And I think PropTech companies don't get enough credit for the various things that they can do and how they can work with other technologies, how they can work with your system, optimize different areas. So I think that's a couple examples, but yeah, I could talk for hours about the different things that they're doing that are really succeeding in this area. And it's so cool to see.
And how can we help those PropTech companies? Because I know that we're working with smart building certification on those PropTech companies and to create more value for them. But how can we help them to make more visible on where they score to make buildings more smart and healthy?
Yeah, so we have partnerships with a lot of our PropTech companies. We then work with doing case studies, talking about the different success factors, trying to share knowledge in the area. So even those that are doing really well can also learn from what someone else did that ended up working or had a creative solution or was just really cool. So that's some of the things that we do where we talk a lot about what's going on with the buildings. We match our partners to different buildings or academic solutions. We're going to be talking more about research in the fall and connecting different research projects to buildings. We're kind of doing that behind the scenes, but this is something that's going to come up a little bit more in the forefront then. That's very exciting and cool. And I think there's a lot of ways that we can connect, because we have a huge network here. We have a huge amount of buildings. We have a huge amount of partnerships, and really connecting everyone and learning from each other and pushing those boundaries and doing something cool and then talking about it.
Yeah, and what do you, I know you're going, you obviously live also in the Netherlands, but you're going back to the United States where you originally come from, back to your family. What are you going to do in the United States? And what are you, because not privately, but also on the business, because you're also going to do something about the smart building stuff. But what are you excited about to do there?
Yeah, so I am going to enjoy the sun in the US. That'll be really great. But there's some amazing projects we're visiting. There's some upcoming partnerships and different tech companies that we're visiting. We're really excited to kind of lean more into what's going on in the US right now, what solutions we can combine with buildings, and how we can and then certifying some buildings there and really moving that forward. So yeah, the US, you know, people have said that Europe has a little bit of a head start on smart buildings, but I think the US is coming for us. They're gonna come hard on this if they are behind.
Yeah, what do you see as the major change right now in the US? Is it the new president that made a major shift?
I mean, the new president put a ton of money into, sustainable buildings, looking more into smart buildings. There's a lot of money going into this. There's new regulations coming in on the state levels. There's new demands from employees and companies for buildings that are more informative and feeding back. Like I said before, this is getting pushed in from all areas, and the money's there. So when everybody wants it and the money's there, it happens.
Yeah. So we need to do also our next step in Europe, probably, because otherwise the United States is going to catch up really fast. Because I think it's right now happening in Europe, maybe in the Nordics and maybe in Eastern Europe. Everybody thinks Western Europe it's happening, but we see also a lot of stuff in Eastern Europe. How come?
That's a great question. I think they. That's a great question. I think they definitely see the return on investment. They have a lot of good, really good PropTech companies there. So I think it's, and they are following what the Scandinavian countries kind of started with, where they really wanted to see what they could do with buildings, and they had government money pushed into those projects. So I think they're just early adopters, and they're doing an amazing job.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah. So they probably more think in not only putting bricks up together, but they also think about creating more value and how can we really make this work.
Yeah, and when we think about a new building project, you start thinking years before the building is done, of course, right? So you do have to think sort of that futuristic, okay, what could possibly be necessary? How do we make a future-proof building? How do we push that forward? And I think there's this kind of exciting thing of seeing what people thought about 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and dreamed of, and now what we're seeing and what is going to happen 5 years from now. It's the conversations that are happening with builders, with architects, with developers. It's amazing the things that they're putting into their new buildings that they're planning. It's really fantastic. And so we're only going to see things get better and better from here.
Now, I know the next presentation is also going to talk about ESG in real estate. And you see all these kind of real estate companies making pledges to be net zero or carbon neutral in 2050. Well, I think that's stupid, to say it pretty easy. Because why 2050? We can do this in 2025. We can do this now. We can make steps right now with the technology that's already out there. How can smart building certification help to help these real estate companies to make a step in the right direction already?
Yeah, so we have a lot of sustainability measurements in our certification. We also then can give a lot of advice on making your building more sustainable, more closer to carbon neutral. I think there's a great gray area in between there where we need to make progress now, like you're saying, and we can't. We don't need to wait almost 50, or not almost 50 years, but almost 30 years to get this done.
And it probably all starts to collect with data out of those offices on how much the energy consumption is, and then make insights on how you can make steps to lower those consumptions.
Yeah, and we need to celebrate the companies that are taking those steps and are being those early adopters and those people who do have goals for 2025. So really looking at that, and I think our certification certainly does. We have different certifications for each theme. You don't just give an overall, so you will have a certification for business performance sustainability, and that you can say we have a platinum in this area, and we're very proud of this, and we're very happy to be moving forward in this area so quickly before other people's kind of deadlines.
Yeah, well, cool. Well, I'm really looking forward to the next part of 2021 and what the smart building certification is going to bring. I hope a lot more buildings being certified, so that we can make better overviews and a better benchmark on what is really happening all over the world, and educate the market on that. So we're happy to have you back at our next event, and hope you can tell us more about what is happening.
Yeah, we've got some exciting things coming up. So hopefully I get the green light to talk about it. That would be great.
Cool. Well, enjoy summer and see you back soon.
Okay, thanks, Voucher.
Thank you. Bye-bye.